Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! I've always been a pretty social person, but there is one person in particular who really rubbed me the wrong way. His name was Brad, and he was just one of those people who thought that he was better than everyone else. He was always bragging about his accomplishments and putting others down. It was really getting on my nerves, but I didn't know what to do about it. That is until I got my revenge. It all started at a party a few months ago, and Brad was there, of course. And he was doing his usual thing, talking about how successful he was and how much money he had. He was going on and on about his new car, a shiny red Ferrari that he had just purchased. I have to admit, I was pretty jealous. I had been saving up for a new car for a while, but I still had a long way to go. Anyway, as the night went on, Brad got more and more drunk, and he started to get really obnoxious. He was hitting on all the girls, making crude jokes, and just generally being a jerk. At one point, he even spilled beer all over my new shirt. That was the last straw for me. I decided then and there that I was going to get my revenge on Brad. I didn't know how I was going to do it yet, but I was determined to find a way. A few days later, I was scrolling through Facebook when I saw something that caught my eye. It was an ad for a new car dealership that was having a big sale. I clicked on the link and started browsing the cars. And that's when I saw it. A beautiful red Ferrari. Just like the one Brad had been bragging about. I knew then that this was how I was going to get my revenge. I made an appointment to test drive the car and went to the dealership the next day. The salesman, a friendly guy named Tom, showed me the car and I took it for a spin. It was amazing. I had never driven anything like this before. After the test drive, Tom asked me if I was interested in buying the car. I told him that I was, but that I needed to think about it. Finally, I had an idea. I called up Brad and told him that I had just purchased a Ferrari, just like his. I could hear the jealousy in his voice as he asked me how much I had to pay for it. I told him that I had gotten a really good deal and that it was none of his business. Over the next few weeks, I made sure to flaunt my new car every chance I got. I drove it to parties, parked it in front of Brad's house, and even revved the engine as I drove past him on the street. Brad was seizing with jealousy, and I loved every minute of it. But my plan wasn't over yet. One day, I got a call from Brad. He sounded angry. "I know what you're doing," he said. "You're trying to make me jealous with that stupid car." I pretended to be confused. What are you talking about, Brad?" "Don't play dumb with me," he said. "I know you bought that car just to show off." I smiled. "Actually, Brad, I didn't buy the car. I just rented it for a few weeks." There was a long pause on the other end of the line. "What?" "Yeah," I said. "I rented it from the dealership for a few weeks. It's not even mine." I could hear Brad's anger turning to embarrassment. "Oh," he said. "Well, I still think you're just trying to show off." I laughed. "Whatever you say, Brad. I'm just enjoying my rental car while it lasts." After that, Brad stopped bragging about his own Ferrari so much. He knew that I had rented mine just to make him jealous, and he didn't want to give me the satisfaction of knowing that it had worked. But my revenge wasn't over yet. A few days later, I got a call from Tom, the salesman at the dealership. "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that the owner of the dealership saw you driving that Ferrari, and he's really interested in meeting you," Tom said. I was surprised. "Really? Why?" "He's just impressed with the way you handled the car," Tom said. "He wants to offer you a job." My jaw dropped. A job at a car dealership? That was my dream job. I had always loved cars, and I had been trying to find a way to get into the industry for years. I went in for the interview, and I nailed it. The owner of the dealership was impressed with my knowledge of cars and enthusiasm for the job. He offered me a position as a salesperson, and I accepted. From that day on, I was a part of the team at the dealership. I worked hard, made sales, and climbed the ranks. And every time Brad saw me driving a new car or heard about my latest success, he knew that he had been beaten at his own game. Looking back, I realized that my revenge on Brad was a little bitty. Costed me a hefty sum, but it led me to a job that I loved and a career that I'm still passionate about to this day. I've got a story that I think would fit perfectly on Bro Revenge subreddit. It's about how I got back at a guy who was a real jerk to me and my friends. It all started last summer when I was living in a small town in the Midwest. There was a local bar that my friends and I liked to hang out at. It was a pretty chill spot, but there was this one guy who would always come in and start trouble. He was always looking for a fight, and he would pick on anyone he thought was weaker than him. One night, my friends and I were having a good time at a bar. When this guy walked in, he was already pretty drunk, and he stumbled over to our table. "What are you looking at?" He slurred. "You got a problem?" We tried to ignore him, but he wouldn't leave us alone. He started knocking over our drinks and making a scene. Finally, my friend Jake had had enough. "Dude, just leave us alone," he said. And that's when the guy got really mad. He stood up and towered over us. "You want a piece of me?" he yelled. "I'll kick all your butts." We could tell that he was serious, so we decided to leave. As we were walking out, the guy pushed me from behind, and I stumbled, but I didn't fall. "Come on, let's go," I said to my friends. We were walking down the street when we heard a guy following us. "You're not getting away that easy," he shouted. "I'm gonna find you." We picked up the pace and started running. We could hear him behind us, but we didn't stop until we got to my car. We jumped in and drove off as fast as we could. After that night, we avoided that bar. We didn't want to run into that guy again. But a few weeks later, we heard that he was causing trouble at a local park. He was picking on kids and scaring people away. And that's when I came up with a plan. I decided to teach him a lesson. I went to the park one day with a friend and we brought some water guns with us. We filled them up with ice-cold water and waited for the guy to show up. When he finally arrived, he was already drunk. He started shouting and cursing at us, just like he always did. But this time, I was ready. "Hey buddy," I said, "you wanna cool off?" Before he could react, my friend and I started spraying him with our water guns. He was so surprised that he didn't even know what to do. He tried to grab the water guns, but we were too quick for him. We kept spraying him until he was completely drenched. He was shivering and shaking, and he looked like a wet dog. "Please stop," he begged. "I'm sorry." But I wasn't done yet. "You wanna fight? Come on, let's go." I could see the anger in his eyes. He was about to attack me, but he slipped on the wet grass and fell flat on his back. I couldn't help but laugh. "Looks like you're not so tough after all. Maybe next time you think twice before picking on people," I said to him. The guy got up and stumbled away humiliated. From that day on, he never bothered anyone at the park again. It felt good to get revenge, but it also felt good to stand up to a bully. A few weeks later, I was walking down the street when I saw the guy again. This time, he was with a group of his friends. They looked like trouble, and I could tell that they were staring at me. I tried to keep walking, but the guy called me out. "Hey, it's that water gun guy," he said, laughing. "Come on, let's mess him up." I knew that I was in trouble. I didn't want to fight him, but I also didn't want to back down. I stopped and turned to face him. "What do you want?" The guy stepped forward and I could smell the alcohol in his breath. "I'm gonna teach you a lesson," he said. Before I could react, he swung at me. I dodged a bunch somehow and tried to step back, and he kept coming at me. He was swinging wildly, but I was able to duck and weave. Finally, he made a mistake. He threw a punch, but he missed and lost his balance. I saw the chance and took it. I tackled him to the ground and pinned him down. His friends tried to help him, but I was able to fend him off. I held the guy down until he calmed down and stopped struggling. When I let him go, he got up and stumbled away, looking embarrassed. After that, I didn't see the guy again. I don't know if he moved away or if he just learned his lesson. but I was glad that he was gone. I realized that standing up to a bully can be risky, but also can be very rewarding. It all started when I moved to a new town. I was excited to start fresh, meet new people, and explore the area, but things didn't go as smoothly as I had hoped. I quickly realized that there was a group of people in my neighborhood who were cliquey and exclusive. They had their own little circle of friends, and they made it clear that they weren't interested in letting anyone new in. At first, I tried to be friendly and make small talk with them when I saw them around, but they always seemed to give me the cold shoulder, or even outright ignore me. It was frustrating and hurtful, but I tried not to let it get to me. One day, I was walking my dog in the park when I overheard a conversation between two of the clique members. Let's call him Sarah and Rachel.
I can't believe that new girl keeps trying to talk to us,
Sarah said.
like we have better things to do than hang out with her.
Rachel snickered.
I know, right? And have you seen the way she dresses? So basic.
I felt my face flush with anger and embarrassment. Who are these girls to judge me based on my clothes and try to even exclude me from their group? I decided then and there that I was going to get my revenge. Over the next few weeks, I kept a low profile and observed the clique's behavior. I noticed that they were really into social media, constantly posting pictures and stories about their outings and adventures. I also noticed that they were very competitive with each other, always trying to one-up each other and prove who was the coolest and most popular. I came up with a plan. I created a fake social media account and started following the clique's accounts. I made sure to interact with their posts in a way that seemed supportive and friendly, but also a little bit mysterious. For example, if Sarah posted a picture of her and Rachel at a trendy new restaurant, I would comment something like, "Looks like you guys had so much fun. I wish I could have been there." It was just vague enough to make them wonder who I was and why I wasn't invited. Slowly but surely, I started to gain their attention. They started following my account and liking my posts. I made sure to post pictures of myself doing things that seemed cool and exciting, like hiking in the mountains or attending a music festival. They didn't actually recognize it was me. I also started dropping hints that I was friends with other cool people in the area. For example, I posted a picture of myself at a party with a group of friends and captioned it, "So lucky to have such amazing friends who always know how to have a good time." I could tell that the clique was starting to get curious and maybe even a little bit jealous. They started messaging me more frequently, asking if I wanted to hang out or come to their events. At first, I played it cool and made excuses for why I couldn't hang out with them, but eventually, I agreed to meet up with them at a popular coffee shop in town. When I arrived, I could tell that they were a little nervous and excited to finally meet the mysterious new girl who seemed to be friends with everyone. They greeted me with awkward smiles and invited me to sit with them. We made a small talk for a while and I could tell that they were all trying to impress me and show off their coolness. But I didn't let them on that I was anything other than friendly and interested in getting to know them. After a while, Sarah suggested that we go to a party that one of their friends would throw in that night.
It's going to be so much fun,
she said.
We have to go.
I pretended to hesitate for a moment, then finally agreed. Okay, sure, I said with a smile. Sounds like a good time. As we left the coffee shop and started walking towards the party, I could tell that they were all buzzing with excitement. They chatted excitedly about the party, the people who would be there, and the cool things they were going to do. But I had a surprise in store for them. When we arrived at the party, I made sure to keep a low profile at first. I chatted with a few people, but mostly just hung back and watched the clique as they flitted around the room, trying to be the center of attention. But then I saw my opportunity. I noticed that one of the clique members, Rachel, had left her purse unattended on a couch while she went to get a drink. I quickly snatched the purse and slipped into a bathroom, where I rifled through its contents. I found what I was looking for, Rachel's phone. I quickly opened up the group chat that the clique had been using to plan their outings and events. Then I sent a message that would change everything. Hey everyone, just wanted to let you know that I'm actually the same girl that you guys were trying to exclude from your group, and I've been playing you this whole time. I waited for a response, feeling a little bit nervous about what would happen next. But then the messages started flooding in.
What? You've been tricking us this whole time? Why would you do that? We were just trying to protect our group. I can't believe you would do something like this. You're such a fake.
I sat back and smiled to myself. It was all going according to plan. Over the next few days, the clique members started reaching out to me, begging me to explain myself and apologize. But I just laughed it off and said that they had gotten what they deserved. You were so quick to judge me and tried to exclude me just because of the way I dressed or talked. I said to them, you never even gave me a chance to show you who I really was. So I decided to teach you a lesson. The clique members eventually gave up trying to get me to apologize or explain myself. And in the end, I felt like I had won. I may have played a little bit dirty, but I felt like I had shown them that it wasn't okay to judge people based on superficial things. And maybe, just maybe, they would think twice before excluding people in the future. As for me, I felt like I had finally found my place in the town. I had shown that I wasn't afraid to stand up for myself and get a little bit of revenge when it was warranted. And maybe, just maybe, I had made some new friends along the way. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.